Okay, ready.
Okay, and go.
All right, so maintenance, you really don't need to remove the breech plug except after every season, really. You definitely don't need to remove and clean the breech plug on our rifles for about 125 rounds. So there's no real need to do it during hunting season. After the season, or when you're putting it away, you'll want to know the basic care and maintenance of your breech plug. Now, it's up to you if you want to clean the rifle like a normal centerfire, which this really is. It performs like a centerfire. You can remove the breech plug. Just don't clean the breech plug, and I'll explain that. But remove the breech plug, and every time you remove it, be sure to put anti-seize onto the breech plug. Always. If you remove the breech plug, put more anti-seize on the breech plug, and we'll demonstrate this so that you can see the whole process. So have your rifle secured on a bench, preferably in a vise such as this, or have somebody assist you by holding it onto the table, on a padded table, flat, if you don't have one of these vices. Okay. So to remove it, you remove the bolt like you do any Remington. There's a little push button under the trigger guard. It's easy to locate. Forward of the trigger. You push it in. You pull the bolt back carefully. Set your bolt aside. And so that you don't scratch your stock, just put a rag over the butt area and comb of your stock. And you will want to have a 7/16 thin wall socket and at least a 15-inch extension, 3/8 drive extension, and obviously a 3/8 drive ratchet. Lefty loosey, righty tighty to remove the breech plug. So to remove the breech plug, we're going to go counterclockwise or left, and what you do, you come back here, and right where the bolt is or was, you carefully insert all the way up into the receiver until you engage the breech plug, and then you'll feel it engage the hex head. So now you'll turn, and once you've broken the thread loose, then you can remove the socket, or the ratchet rather, and start unscrewing the breech plug. Okay, so what I like to do is start turning it until I see about way down in here, you can barely see it, but you'll see about a 1/2 inch of the socket head come through the back of the receiver. And once you have that, I will carefully take the rifle out of the vise. We're going to take the rifle out of the vise now. And hold it vertically. So right in here, we can drop the breech plug out, and you'll see the breech plug coming out. I'm going to go ahead and pull it all the way out. There's the breech plug. Okay, you can see the never seize that's on there already. And we're going to go ahead and put a little more on there and demonstrate it. But we'll set that down. We'll put the rifle back in its vise. Just set it there for safekeeping. And what we like doing over here is take the never seize, get a Q-tip, and just get a little never seize. You don't need a lot. You don't need to go overboard on it. And then take and rotate right in the middle of the threads is best. And that's really all you need to do, because when you screw it back in, it's obviously going to work up through the threads again. Okay, so you don't need a lot of it. You just want it to cover most all of the threads. And you can get a little anal about it and go like this.
Like I do.
and coat it. Yeah, like Laura does. But you only have to coat it on one side because, again, it will drive into the threads when you screw it in. Okay, so leave your breech plug carboned or slightly dirty. Don't run a lubricant in it because if you do, it's going to have a misfire. So keep your breech plug dry but dirty. Okay, so come on over here again. And now you can carefully put the breech plug back in. And it's the same process, just in reverse. So push it all the way up into the receiver. Let it engage the threads. I normally will back out, do a little lefty turns, and then start rotating it back in. Okay, so now we're tightening it. We're going clockwise or righty-tighty. I'm keeping my thumb and hand here to protect the stock. When I get ready to tighten, I'm going to put the cloth back on the stock. Okay. Now I'm going to put the cloth back to protect the stock from getting damaged. Change the direction of my socket. Now we want to go clockwise or right. And people always ask, what's the torque specs? There's no torque specs. You do a nice tight turn. You don't force it. You don't beat it. You don't fight it. You just give it a nice good push. And if it's strong enough to stay into your vise, that's enough. It's approximately 40 inch pounds, not foot pounds, 45 inch pounds. It doesn't require a lot. You'll know if you don't have the breech plug in far enough because even your bolt will not close. So the next step, simply reinsert your bolt and it should close that easily. That means you have your breech plug in far enough. Okay, so again, your breech plug does not have to be cleaned after every shot. We recommend not until about after 125 rounds, and then you can take your breech plug out and inspect it and clean it with normal solvents, but you want to blow it dry with air. And if you are one of those that wants to clean from breech to muzzle rather than muzzle to breech without a bore protector, then feel free to remove the breech plug. I'm just trying to give an easier way. You don't always need to remove that breech plug. Keep it dirty, but keep it free of debris. And when in doubt, we always recommend putting a primed module in and firing one off at the range or prior to a hunt just to clear the breech plug of any debris, or if you suspect you might have a lubricant that breached into the area. The shot of the primer itself, no powder, no bullet, just a primer shot, will clear that flash hole in the breech plug. And then you're ready to load it up and go to town. All right, so that's how easy it is to maintain the breech plug on these XMLs. Very easy, easy peasy. Okay.
Area318.com.